What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we have got a brand new arc insight for you guys today, and that is the SHADOWMANE versus the THYLACOLEO. And already you can see there is a substantial size difference between the two. So guys, for those of you that aren't aware of what an arc insight is, essentially we go through, we check out all their base level stats, we compare their move speed, their swim speed, their melee damage, and then at the end we pit them in a battle to the death. Now these guys are only level 1 because that is how we go about getting their base stats. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off guys, we do have a female SHADOWMANE here as well, so it's not going to have the extra ability like the male, so that's just the one we're looking at. Now guys, as for the SHADOWMANE at base level 1, it has 825 health, 450 stamina, 425 weight, and 125.8 melee damage, which is the same across pretty much every dino tame, I believe. But their actual base damage is different, so we'll get into that in a bit. As for the THYLACOLEO, 700 health, 400 stamina, 400 weight, 121.9 melee damage. So already you can see that the THYLACOLEO is at a disadvantage in comparison to the SHADOWMANE, having less health, less stamina, and less melee damage. As well as that, the SHADOWMANE has the added benefit of having natural armor. You can see there it's got 14.7 armor. THYLACOLEO wouldn't actually have a saddle unless we've put it on him. In this case, we obviously have, but that armor saddle is 25. So guys, now that we have covered their base stats, let's get into their abilities. And of course, there's a big ass Bronto blocking the way. Now, as for the SHADOWMANE, there are two variants, as you guys are aware, the male and the female. The male has an extra roar ability that will buff all nearby creatures, whereas the female only has the stealth roar, I guess you could say. However, this does provide the buff to other nearby dinos if you have a male near you. They also get a mate boost as well if you have another male with you. Now, obviously, we're not going to be using that because that would put the THYLACOLEO at a massive disadvantage. However, the SHADOWMANE also has the ability to do teleport strikes. You can see there we are able to lock on to really whatever we want to, and it will stun flies out of the air as well as players using tech gear. Now, as well as that, they also have a jump ability which allows them to pretty much teleport jump, I guess you could call it. So you've got that as well. Now they also have a Thorns ability where if you are attacked, you will reflect a percentage amount of that damage back onto whatever it is that is attacking you. So you can see here if we attack this Paracer and the SHADOWMANE takes damage, it will automatically apply a debuff and deal Thorns damage to the creature that attacked it. You can see there it has a purple shroud around it. It was taking 2 damage per tick. You can see just like that. Now, it will take more damage if it continuously gets hit. You can see here, if we whistle passive, the Paracer will take 10 damage, and it will continuously stack up. So the Thorns effect does continuously stack up. I'm not entirely sure yet whether or not it scales with HP or melee damage, but you can see there it is an effective way of dealing a lot of damage to some things. Now, I'm going to get rid of this bastard because he is going to cause some problems later down the line. Now, you'll also notice we are on Valgyro because Genesis 2 is a nightmare on single player, so it doesn't really work out all that effectively. Now guys, the SHADOWMANE also has an attack bar. Now you can see it down there underneath the SHADOWMANE's abilities. It slowly builds up as you attack. Now you attack quicker as well as this bar fills up, and it also deals more damage the more it gets filled up. However, once it is fully charged, you can see that we get a purple glow around us, and if you actually hold down your primary attack, you will do a charged attack. If you manage to successfully kill the creature that you're attacking with this charged attack, the bar would automatically fill up and you can reuse it again. As long as you continuously keep killing things, this bar will never run out. So it's really effective at dealing a lot of damage. Now, obviously, because we are only on a level 1 SHADOWMANE, it's not going to be doing god tier amounts of damage. Plus, we've put no extra levels into this SHADOWMANE. However, when you get to your higher levels and you start breeding them, imprinting them, getting all those extra levels in them, this attack is going to hit super ridiculously hard. So keep that in mind. This is only a level 1 because we are testing all the base stats and everything. So you can see there that the base attack damage is 44. The charged attack is 220. As well as that, the SHADOWMANE also receives a hydrated buff from walking into water. So this guy just ticks all the boxes for DPS. You can see there in the top right hand corner we do have the hydrated buff now. This will cause us to do extra damage, more health regeneration, as well as bonus move speed. So now with this buff as well, we actually do less because of the mate boosting. Let's attack this Jaboa. You can see there we hit for 50 damage instead, with our charged attack dealing, if I can get it off before this Parasaur dies. With our charged attack dealing, come on stamina, kick in for me. it's going to run out. We're not going to have enough time to do this. Hold on, here we go. We should have enough time. With the charge attack dealing 253 damage. Now, once again, this is all because it is only level 1. If it was higher level, it would obviously be dealing a crap ton more of damage. But guys, that is all of the SHADOWMANE's abilities and powers, as well as its base damage. So we're looking at 44 damage with its base stats. No buffs applied or anything like that. 220 for its charged attack, and 50 and 253 for its hydrated attack. Now, do take note, it's not mate boosted, it's not pack boosted or anything like that. So it'll also scale more effectively with those abilities as well. Now guys, next up we have the THYLACOLEO. Now, the THYLACOLEO was probably your go-to SHADOWMANE before Genesis Part 2 came out. This guy has significantly fallen off, I would say, since the SHADOWMANE has come out. However, this guy does have his own abilities. So he applies a bleed attack with his primary attack, which does 5% of the target's health over 10 seconds. So this doesn't actually show up, so I can't actually show you how much damage it does. 5% of the total health of the creature that you're attacking. It also has a jump ability. It doesn't have a secondary attack, unfortunately. It does have a roar, however, as well, which does absolutely nothing. And you can climb up 90-degree vertical walls with the THYLACOLEO as well. You can see here, just like that, we're able to climb him. He does have the ability to jump and all that, and he does take reduced fall damage as well. So, that is pretty much all the THYLACOLEO has. That is, yeah, that's all the THYLACOLEO has. Doesn't have any reflection damage like the SHADOWMANE. He only has the bleed attack. So, already you can kind of tell who is going to win the fight at the end. It's definitely going to be the SHADOWMANE. But now, guys, we're going to test their movement speed and their stamina usage. So, as you can see, we've got some gates set up here. We're going to back these guys up, and we're going to give them a good old-fashioned race. So, we've got the THYLACOLEO lined up. We'll get the SHADOWMANE lined up. And we are going to race to the other side of the gates and see who is the faster tamer. Honestly, I think this could go to either, to be honest. So we're going to take the THYLACOLEO first. We'll set up a timer on screen as well for you guys to see. And I'm just going to entirely wing it because I don't have the timer on screen. I'll give it my best shot, but here we go. Let's see how we go. Alright, so the THYLACOLEO is away. We're going to count it till we get through the next gateway. And this has taken us a total of about 7 seconds. So about 7 seconds for the THYLACOLEO to complete the course. Not bad. I guess it purely depends on how the SHADOWMANE does. We're on the SHADOWMANE now, and we're away. So SHADOWMANE is a little bit faster than the THYLACOLEO. Only slightly, though. Took the SHADOWMANE about 5.5, 6 seconds. So the SHADOWMANE obviously is faster. Alrighty guys, now next up we have the swim test. Now obviously the SHADOWMANE is going to be extremely faster than the THYLACOLEO. Not only does it get a hydrated buff, it also has a fishtail. So you know, this thing is absolutely designed to swim in the water. Its spawn code is lionfish line, so you know, it's literally in its name. And as you can see, the SHADOWMANE is an absolute bullet in the ocean as well. So obviously it's going to definitely beat the THYLACOLEO. Can you piss off, dude? Of course you decide to come along. Obviously the THYLACOLEO is going to lose to the SHADOWMANE in terms of swimming. I don't really, yeah, like the poor dude. I mean, he doesn't do bad, but he's no SHADOWMANE, obviously. So you can already tell how this way is going. I'm definitely giving it to the SHADOWMANE. I feel like the THYLACOLEO has become pretty much redundant due to the SHADOWMANE. Because of, well, I mean, the SHADOWMANE just outperforms the THYLACOLEO in every single way. Now, as for saddle requirements, the THYLACOLEO requires you to be level 51, needs a smithy, 20 metal, 290 hide, 155 fiber. You don't need to worry about a saddle for the SHADOWMANE because it has the natural armor and you can just ride it automatically. Now, in order to tame these guys up, the THYLACOLEO is a knockout tame. You have to feed it cooked mutton. That is the best source, unless you've got exceptional kibble, I believe. Extraordinary kibble. In which case you can use that. SHADOWMANE, I have covered plenty of times how to tame. You got to sneak up on it while it's asleep with filled fish baskets and put it in its inventory. So guys, that covers all their stats, their move speed, their swim speed. Now we're going to get into the battle to the death. Now this is obviously going to be a little bit one-sided because the SHADOWMANE has natural armor, whereas the THYLACOLEO doesn't. So we're going to take the saddle off the THYLACOLEO. And we're going to have the SHADOWMANE fight the THYLACOLEO. Now, honestly, this could go either way, actually, now that I think about it, because the SHADOWMANE could go for its teleporting strike against the THYLACOLEO, and that could put it at its advantage. Plus, the THYLACOLEO does have the bleed attack, which could also mess up the SHADOWMANE. So guys, what we're going to do here is we are going to unclaim the THYLACOLEO. We're going to get the THYLACOLEO to attack the SHADOWMANE. So what we've done, we've just activated players only mode. So we're going to walk this guy right up here. We're going to set the Thyla's behavior to aggressive. We are going to unclaim the THYLACOLEO. And then what we're going to do is we're going to whistle our SHADOWMANE to attack. We're going to stand back here. We're going to type in leave me alone so that they won't aggro on us. And just like that, we're ready to go and let the fight begin. Here we go. Oh, okay. Alrighty, guys. So we have fixed the problem. Well, I think we've fixed the problem with these two not wanting to fight. So this should fix it. Here we go. Let's get into it. Okay, this is interesting. This is not how I expected this fight to go. The THYLACOLEO actually managed to circle it pretty good. I think the bleed is going to help, but the SHADOWMANE's natural armor just enables it to... Yeah, look at that. Look at the difference. So, the THYLACOLEO had 700 health. He didn't even break under that. So, a big difference in terms of health. What we're going to do now, though, is there's no way for me to actually get a 14 armored saddle, I don't think. I've tried. So, what we'll do is I'm going to spawn in another THYLACOLEO. We're going to let it have a saddle this time around, and we're going to see how it performs and whether or not it'll be able to defeat the SHADOWMANE. Now, once again, my money is on the SHADOWMANE winning. I just think the SHADOWMANE hands down will win it for us. Let's go. Here we go. We're going to unclaim it. I was expecting the SHADOWMANE to actually do the teleport strike, which might have given the THYLACOLEO a brief advantage. But apparently not. Alright, here we go. So that's ready to go. We're going to reactivate players only. We're going to do this first. There we go. Oh, I didn't set it to aggressive. Whoopsies. I still don't think it really would have made too much of a difference. The SHADOWMANE is still absolutely... And you can see there, the charge attack just came out at that end there as well, dealing 176 damage. This one actually did worse than the last one. Probably because I didn't whistle it aggressive, but like... Still not enough to even come close to taking out the SHADOWMANE. The SHADOWMANE still managed to charge up its fully charged attack and actually defeat the THYLACOLEO. So, I guess we know who takes this one, but I feel like the THYLACOLEO has become a bit redundant due to the SHADOWMANE. But yeah, guys, that's it for today's Arc Insight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know who you want to see next. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.